I'd like to call the order of the Milan Area Schools Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance as you are able? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you to everyone attending this evening, as well as those who will be watching the recording. All board members are present except for Mr. Burdette. He should be arriving shortly, and we'll make note of when he arrives. We will start with communications and community engagement with public comment. A reminder, this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public meeting. There are 2 times for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. When addressing the board, you will be asked to state your name. The board determines the amount of time granted to individuals or groups to speak. Each person shall be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. Board members may question speakers but are not obligated to answer questions or make statements or commitments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such items will be referred to the superintendent for advisement, and investigation, study, and/or recommendation, or designated as future agenda items for board consideration. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? All right, seeing none, we will move on to strategic plan business. First up, I need a motion to approve the director's salary schedule as provided in attachment A. Moved by Farrow.
Support by Pryor.
So moved and supported to approve the director's salary schedule as provided in attachment A. Mr. McMahon.
Yes, Mr. Sislo, the director's salary schedule it's similar to the administrator's salary schedule that was created and approved back in June. It's just setting a new benchmark based on a study we did with Williams and Company to benchmark all the directors' positions. This will only impact employees that are hired after August 1st, 2025. Other directors are grandfathered in on the non-affiliated salary schedule, so this is just moving forward.
Any questions or concerns? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the director's salary schedule as provided in attachment A. Ms. Murray.
Thank you. Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
and motion carries 6-0.
All right. Next, I need a motion to approve Gary Cox as the Director of Building and Grounds effective for the 2025-2026 school year.
Moved by Heika. Support by Gutierrez.
It's been moved and supported to approve Gary Cox as the Director of Building and Grounds effective for the 2025-2026 school year. Mr. McMahon.
So thank you. I'm very excited to be bringing this candidate to you. It's been a long, lengthy, adventurous search to find the right candidate that's the right fit for us, and I think we found one here. Mr. Cox comes to us with a number of years' experience, specifically in facilities management. He worked at Siena Heights notably. First of all, he's a certified electrician, but worked at Siena Heights as an electrician and then taking on main projects, leading projects. And then he jumped over to the Michigan International Speedway, where he actually served as a facility director there for a number of years. We are looking forward to having him bring his expertise and his with obviously his electrical expertise, but also with the machines, the HVAC system, all the systems he needs, and with managing people. So we're happy to bring him to you for consideration.
Excellent. Any questions or concerns? All right.
I don't have
Yeah.
any concerns, but I did just want to thank Mr. McMahon and the rest of the administration. I know this has been a really long road, and I know that, the board on the first vote created a little, consternation, but I agree with you that we have a great candidate now, and so I just really appreciate you going back to the drawing board and all the hard work you and your team have put into this.
Yes. Any other comments? All right. It's been moved and supported to approve Gary Cox as the Director of Buildings and Grounds effective for the 2025-2026 school year. Ms. Murray.
Thank you. Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
and motion carries 6-0.
All right. Thank you. Next up in the area of operations, Mr. McMahon's going to give us a paddock building update. I think most everyone is aware based on his messages of what occurred at paddock. So he's going to walk us through some of that and the remediation and what we're doing going forward. So, Mr. McMahon.
Mr. Sislo, thank you. I did want to provide somewhat of a formal update. I don't have anything formally prepared, but I have some information to share just to clear up any concerns or misconceptions that are out there. First of all, we did not cancel any days of school or push back the start of school. We've been contacted by the media. There's been a number of other districts around us that have suffered some lost days of school. We didn't have to do that, so I want to make sure that that's clear and out there. The issue with mold happens in schools. Obviously, it's happening around us right now. This is a very hot, humid summer, and we're not alone to see that we do find mold at times in schools, just like you would in your home or even in a place of employment here. And we clean it up. Our custodians are trained to clean up mold when it's found. So this summer, and I should also add, you see it in schools quite a bit because we clean the carpets, we shampoo carpets, and if it's humid, it's hard to get those dry, and that creates more moisture in the school, so that creates conditions for mold. So this summer we had a couple spots, no different than other summers, and we cleaned them up. We find it more in spaces that aren't being used regularly. So at Paddock Elementary, we have our summer camp, and we did find some in some of those rooms spot cleaned, no problem. But the mold concentration we found was in areas that was not being used regularly because there's less airflow and less cleaning on a routine schedule. But what happened that really promulgated the situation for us was the power outage on July 29th. The district, this area, and as far as I know, it was from like Manchester to Ypsi down to Dundee. It was widespread. It was a bright sunny day, 8 o'clock in the morning. We lost power for 3 to 4 hours. Well, that knocked out our network for 26 hours, and our network controls our HVAC. So we could not control the temperature in the buildings because we had nothing running for a full 27 hours, and it got hot and muggy in all of our buildings. Fortunately, we got it reconnected, got it back up, brought the buildings back to temperature, but then we noticed a little bit more mold at Paddock than we had seen before, and then it got to the point where teachers were reporting it to me that it was just time to get it tested to say, is this safe? Do we have a problem we need to take more action on? And so on August 11th, that's when we contacted a company to get a professional testing done, and it took them a week. That was a Monday. It took us, we didn't find out till Friday afternoon that they said, yeah, the levels are elevated. It's not everywhere in your building. It's in some spots. It was the spots that didn't have student traffic in it, but we determined that it was possibly in our HVAC system, and we wanted to remediate the entire building. So that evening, we went down, the administrative team got together, we worked all through the weekend, we got a company on board, we took some quotes, because it was extremely expensive. We saved, well, the first quote was $175,000 more than the one we went with. And we ended up going with a quote that was $300,000, and that was to get it done before students came back. We asked for options that were less expensive, but it would have taken 3 to 4 weeks, and we did not want to cancel school one day, much less 3 or 4 weeks. So it was an expensive option. Our insurance does not cover it all. We're going to have to find a way to make it work as a district, but it was important to us and to our students and families. So that remediation work began on a Sunday morning. There was a crew of 60 to 70 folks in there hustling. The work ended Thursday evening. We had to get tested Friday morning and didn't get the clearance until Friday afternoon that the building was fully clear. The air inside the building was reading less mold than outside, and well below or above standard, but the numbers were below. And we were able to get the teachers back in Friday afternoon, and they were there. We were there late making final adjustments on our HVAC systems. I should add that as well. Not only did we get the mold remediated, we spent time with the maintenance department, which is 1.5 people at this point because we were low staffed. And Lon Smith and I and Jen Bookout, we were learning how to fix HVAC systems, and we called in companies. We work with 2 companies. One does our controls, one does our mechanics. We pulled them both in and got their assessment. And then I went outside and got a third-party HVAC company to come in to give us a full assessment on the system, and they helped us adjust it so that the humidity is greatly reduced. The building feels terrific. I was in there today. I've been in there every day since July 31st, but it was in good shape, and I haven't heard reports that the humidity is coming back. So we worked hard. Yeah. We worked, obviously we hired a company to do the remediation cleaning, but then we hired companies and our own staff to make sure we got our humidity under control, and we do, and it feels good in there. So I guess That was a little bit more in the summary, but we're just excited to have him back. I'm going to take this time to thank our staff. For those that did extra work, we were tremendously exhausted. It was long hours all weekend. We haven't had a day off since. So I want to thank the administrators and principals and teachers and custodians and maintenance workers that were able to help, but also thank the staff for being flexible. We had to move our PD days off-site. I want to thank our parents for being flexible with open house. We had to move that outside. We actually kind of enjoyed it. We might talk about future options, but it was more community based. It was like people were chatting, the kids were playing. I actually kind of thought it was fun. But everybody's flexible and everybody understood. And I really want to, above all, thank our families because we got support. I expected to get a number of complaints, and what I got was a lot of support. Say thank you for doing this, thank you for taking care of our kids, and that felt really good to hear that from our community, knowing that what we were doing was hard and expensive, but it was the right thing to do. And so I want to thank everybody for just making it possible to get our kids back in school on the first day we scheduled them to be there.
Excellent. I think the board wants to echo that thanks to everyone as well. There's too many people to name, I'm sure, but also just to do to take action on the remediation and not wait. I think that was very important. So, other comments or questions for Mr. McMahon? And you did we do testing of the other buildings?
Oh, yes, we did. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, we started the remediation work on Sunday. By Tuesday, they were already in the other 4 buildings taking measurements.
Okay.
We had a plan for that, and they all came up clean, good to go.
Okay.
Thank you for that question.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Again, yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you so much. That brings us back to communications and public comments. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? All right. We will move on to assistant superintendent comments. Ms. Bookout.
So I just wanted to share, I was able to be in all 4 buildings this week as we got ready to go back to school, and it was so great to see our teachers greeting and interacting with our students really excited to be back in the building, to see their friends and their teachers. I just want to acknowledge all the hard work that went into that. For our buildings and grounds, our maintenance, our paraprofessionals, food service, bus drivers, teachers, especially and paraprofessionals, everyone does a lot of work to get ready for school coming back. So I just want to thank everyone for all of the hard work they put into making a strong start to our school year.
Awesome. Thank you. Superintendent comments. Mr. McMahon.
Mr. Sislo, thank you. I want to start by just welcoming everybody back officially to the start of the year. We have 3 days under our belt now, and we're full steam ahead. It was a long, busy summer, a lot of transition in this central office and in some of our buildings. Lots of new employees, lots of new leaders. So we're coming together, but we're just really happy to have everybody back. I want to echo what Mrs. Bookout said about thanking folks for the work they did this summer, but she needs to get some credit too. She's going to sell herself short. Our administrators met weekly this summer, and then that was our base meeting. We met additionally beyond that, and then we pulled together for an admin retreat, and Mrs. Bookout, led significant planning work and well thought work. And what was most significant to me was I could walk around the buildings. We had a great opening day. It was exciting. It was good information. But then the end of that day and then the second and third day of PD with the teachers was to walk around and see consistent messaging happen in the buildings. I haven't seen it like that ever. And so that was good because we have a plan and we're trying to formalize our processes and make things consistent and move things forward as a district rather than as 4 buildings. And I could see that in action, and she deserves a lot of credit for that. And the teachers too, they're just working, and the principals. We're excited. We got a lot to do, and it feels like no time to do it, but we're working hard, and so it's good to see all that work come together. An additional comment I want to make is that there is a CTE millage coming up, and there's more information that's going to be coming out, but absentee voting starts in September, and the election is on November 4th. So I just want to encourage our families to get out and start with looking at the WISD website. There will be pamphlets and flyers and posters around to learn about the millage. It is a 1 mil request that will generate $25 million per year for 10 years. there's a lot of value and a lot of programming that can come of it, but we need our voters to take a look and make sure that it's an issue that they understand before they go to the ballots. So I'm going to probably be talking about that a little bit more as we get closer, but I just want to start mentioning that now.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Board member comments. I'm going to go ahead and start. I will go first. So I do want to thank my fellow board members who attended the Paddock Open House. I was unable to attend. I do thank everyone that attended that. I especially want to thank Mr. Tom Farrow, who was the provider of the tents. Very well received by everyone that attended. So thank you, Tom, for providing those tents. I also learned there's a group of community members that edge and weed the sidewalks around Paddock and Simons prior to school starting. So I want to give a shout out to that group of volunteers that do that. I was not aware that that happened, but I am, now that I've realized it and understand, I'm thankful for the work that they do around our schools to help that. And then obviously the state budget. I'm sure people will talk more about this after me, and I will let them speak. But it continues to be an issue. I know a budget was put forth by the House just recently to be evaluated. So it continues to be an issue. We don't have any approved funding going forward for our district after at the beginning of October. So that's my comments for this evening. Others? Ms. Pryor.
Yes, I was able to attend the MASB Summer Institute the 15th and 16th, and I took 5 courses. I did bring back the information if anybody wants to look through the information, but it was nice meeting some of the other board members from different schools, learning about the issues they have, and taking these courses, learn a little bit about some of the interesting laws and legal things we have coming up. So if anybody wants to look through these, I'll put them in my mailbox and you can take a look. I also want to thank everybody as well for the paddock cleanup. I was really proud of how everyone worked together and was able to make sure school started and to welcome everybody back for the new school year. I hope everyone has a great year.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. Others?
Mr. Sisler.
Yeah, Ms. Heika.
I want to welcome everyone back as well. It was a very smooth transition back to school, at least in my household, and it seems like on average for the district. So I do want to thank the admin team, all of our teachers, our staff, our custodians, the bus garage, the people who work in the lunchroom, everyone. The amount of work that it takes to get ready is quite frankly crazy and exhausting. And so I just appreciate that everyone, got everything ready and we had a great start. I also want to thank everyone who helped with the paddock cleanup. That was no short feat either. And so everyone understands our admin team was literally here like 2 weekends in a row, the entire weekend. Maybe it was 3, but it was at least 2. And so, they were just here, working, rolling up their sleeves, working with everyone else to get that building cleaned up and ready for our youngest kids. And so I appreciate all of the hard work all of you put into that. And thank you to our families and our staff for being so flexible and moving that open house outside at the very last minute, because I think it was important to still have it and have it at the time it was set for. And I agree with Mr. McMahon. I felt like it was more of a communal thing. Kids were playing in the playground, parents were chatting in the playgrounds, and it was so much fun to watch all the kids see their friends after all summer, and then just ran and we were hugging each other, and then they'd go play, and it was just a great time. But I know that took a lot of work for our staff too, to get ready at the last minute to get all their stuff outside and organize everyone. So I just really appreciate everyone that did that, and our custodial staff who set up the tables and the chairs, and Mr. Farrow for the tents, because it looked like it was going to rain really bad. But the other nice part about it was the preschool was at the other end, and so the kids kind of started mixing together on the playground, and so siblings were playing together with other siblings, and it was just a lot of fun. So thank you to everyone who did that. I want to announce that Milan is starting a dance team. It's going to be a club at the high school. It's a long time coming. I'm very excited. Tryouts are going to be Tuesday, so in a week, in the Aux Gym from 5 to 7. Bring comfortable shoes, clothes that you can dance in. So I can't wait to see what they put together and see all of our dancers dance. I want to congratulate the swim team. They won last night against Allen Park. It was a fun meet. And they already have a ton of state cuts, so those girls are well on their way to keeping up that girls swim team tradition. I do want to talk very quickly about the budget that was passed by the Republican-led House. I talked a little bit about it at the last meeting. It is as bad as we feared. So we do have two budgets now and a proposed governor's budget. So hopefully this will push all of them to get together to talk and come to some sort of compromise. I still hear from various people who work on the Hill, I guess you can call it the Hill, work on Capitol Hill, that there's still a push to just have a shutdown. That's the way that some people want to deal with the differences. And I think everyone can understand that if you shut down the government, they don't pay their bills, we can't pay our bills. And if we can't pay our bills, it's going to be pretty catastrophic. And so I just still encourage everyone to call, their state reps, call the Speaker of the House, call the Senate leader, and call Governor Whitmer and tell them it needs to get done. I will tell you the Republican budget does focus on roads. There are $3 billion in there for roads. It does so at the expense of everything else, because we want to spend more money on roads, but we don't want to pay for it with any additional taxes. And we can have a debate on whether that's good or bad, but the reality is that everything else is suffering in that budget. And the budget does, as I warned last time, create block grants for dollars that are generally earmarked for some of our most vulnerable learners. And so now every district, regardless of your need, will get this per pupil funding that was normally earmarked for kids who needed it the most. This sets us way back. Many people who went to elementary school in Michigan, when I went to elementary school in Michigan, remember that the schools used to be funded based on your tax assessment on your homes. So you had very rich districts and you had very poor districts. And that's how the funding was set up. And we have been trying for 40 years to equalize that funding, because any kid in Milan's education is not any more or less important than a kid's education in Ann Arbor. But that is still how we fund it. There are districts in the state that still get more per pupil funding than other districts, and Ann Arbor is one of them. This block grant now will make that worse, because instead of getting the money for your children who are at risk, so you have the X number of children, so you're going to get this, and your need is here, so you're going to get this, they're just going to block grant it, and so everyone's going to get the same amount, and that is going to make that discrepancy in funding even bigger. So please call your representatives. At the very least, call them and tell them that your child's education is not worth less than anyone else's, and that they cannot step back when it comes to equalizing that funding.
Thank you, Ms. Heika. Others? Mr. Farrell.
Yeah, I just want to thank the administration, Mr. McMahon, Jen Bookout, others for their prompt and appropriate action on the mold remediation. And I also want to thank the paddock staff, the teachers, the parents, the students for being as helpful and as flexible as they were. As Ms. Heika indicated, it was, I'm sure it was very stressful, but being a board member and being there looked like it was all planned and pre-planned, and it was nice to see the kids. And I know that you had a student introduced to me. It was really an enjoyable time. As stressful as it was and as much work as it was, it turned out to be a really fun event. And so I just want to thank the teachers and the custodians, everybody that made that open house possible. I want to make sure that they got a big thank you. I also want to formally welcome everyone back to the first day of school. All our teachers, our students, our staff. I hope everyone has a great year. I want to especially thank the district administration team and our custodial team. I know and acknowledge that the past few months have been a challenge, and you have all handled each situation professionally and collaboratively, so thank you. Another note is that the Michigan Public School Count Day is on Wednesday, October 1st. This is when student enrollment is officially counted. 90% of our funding from the state is determined by the October count. The remaining 10% is determined in the month of February. So it's important that our students attend school on the fall count day to ensure that our students and staff continue to receive the resources that we anticipated as part of our initial budget process. And then I just have a final comment, and I think it's known, but I did want to let the community know that our teachers, our admin assistants, our custodians, our paraprofessionals, our transportation employees, and our cafeteria employees do not have new agreements at this time. And that is because we are waiting on an approved budget from the state of Michigan, and we need to know what our school funding is going to be. So it isn't because we don't want to address that, it is because we are waiting for the state so that we can act accordingly. So thank you all. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Others? Ms. Gutierrez?
Thank you, Mr. Sisto. I'd like to welcome everyone back to the start of the school year. I've felt a new energy this year. I think with new administrative teams and new teachers in buildings and so forth, it's both very energizing, and I think that we have our feet under us with the new formulation of different grades in different buildings. And so I was at the middle school open house with my daughter last week, and Mr. Midland is really a force to be reckoned with. I hadn't met him yet, but just the energy he brought to that building. And so I'm grateful for him and all of our administrators. I'd also like to thank Mr. McMahon, Mrs. Bookout, and all who helped with the paddock remediation. I've been following the news about what's been happening in some of the other districts. And so what happened here is not unique. I think it's exactly a perfect storm of the things Mr. McMahon mentioned. But I think the way it was handled was really a demonstration of extraordinary teamwork and priority setting about what is most valued here is making sure that our kids are safe and that our kids are learning and in the building, and that we will figure out the rest of that. But that the priority is on those kids. So thank you for that. I'd also like to just share, like Mrs. Pryor, I attended the MASB Summer Institute on 8/15. I took 3 courses, one of which was on I don't know what it was called formally, but branding and logo setting, and we're underway in some of those conversations here in Milan. And so I'm eager to continue those conversations and think about how we identify ourselves as a district, because I think we know those things. We just want to work on articulating those things. And then I echo everything that's been said thus far on the budget. It's exhausting to continue to think about how little is being done when so much is at jeopardy. And I think we just have to be tenacious and continuing to push our representatives to truly represent us and our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Ms. Murray?
Sorry. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I would also like to just take a moment to welcome everyone back to all of our buildings. I've been so enjoying all of the Facebook posts and hearing from my own district representative in our household, just all of her positive experiences with her group of students so far this year, and just agree the energy that is palpable throughout the district that has come from having all of these wonderful new administrators in their positions, and all of their energy and ideas that are just infiltrating and just kind of infusing their way through all of our classrooms and into our students, hopefully, as the new year gets started. So thank you and welcome. Briefly, also thank you to our administrators for all of your tireless efforts. I'm sorry if you had to sleep on a couch in your office, and thank you for doing it if you did. And I also want to note the excellent communication from administration to the board. I felt at no time in the dark or unsure of how this situation was being handled. It was clearly communicated to all of us and to the community. And again, I have a family member who works in one of our buildings, and just the peace of mind that I now have, that this situation was handled with the utmost of care and with our students and staff at the heart and center of it all. It was tiring, exhausting, expensive, but I'm just incredibly proud of the work that was done to prioritize our kiddos and our staff and our families. So yes, and again, thank you to all of our families and our paddock staff for their understanding and grace and adaptability. I too was briefly at the paddock open house. I was at Simon's longer than I intended to be, but I did go to both open houses, and they were both fantastic. And just the attitude of the staff members at both buildings was very positive, and again, adaptable, flexible, and just very reflective of our mindset here in Milan. So I'm grateful for that. I wanted to, I guess it's an echo or reiterate. I know Mr. McMahon mentioned the CTE millage, and just wanted to add a little bit more to that. I guess the millage is on the November ballot, and it is for all Washtenaw County school districts. So if you have, if you live in our Washtenaw ISD, it will be on your ballot. The millage is for 10 years, and it's 1 mil, which means that's $1 on every $1,000 of taxable value. So just to remind the community that the taxable value of our homes is not the Zillow price. If Zillow says your home is worth $400,000, they're not going to tax you at, $400 for every, a dollar for every one of those 400,000. So look at your tax statements, find out what the taxable value of your home is if you own one, and then multiply that by $1. So we do have, we've had the opportunity to hear from Ryan Rowe, who is our CTE director at the WISD, representing all of us and trying to make progress on this CTE desert that we experience through multiple districts in our county, and just the inequity that exists for students in Milan versus students in Ann Arbor in terms of what programs they are able to participate in as students in high school. So there's been so much work that's been done toward addressing those inequities and making sure that all students in Washtenaw County have access to high quality career technical education. But there is a great deal of uncertainty around the state and federal funding that will or won't be coming to districts in our state about, to further those efforts. And so I personally am deeply concerned about the future of those funds and our ability as a county to to sustain the work that we've already begun on addressing this issue. So with that being said, I do want to just deeply request that the community consider the CTE millage that's on our November ballot. And if you're seeking information, washtenawisd.org, and they have actually added a tab right at the top of the website that says Career Technical Education. So you just click on that tab and it will have a robust amount of information for you. So please do check that out and thoughtfully consider that millage. I did want to also briefly mention the My Future Fund. Milan had a really strong start, as I understand, when the My Future Fund was first rolled out last year, or was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago. And they are still trying to enroll kids and make sure that they get access to those free dollars to start a savings account for college. So there is still money on the table for some students. So again, washtenawisd.org, and if you search for My Future Fund, you can find out more information about that. But please make sure that you get your student enrolled in that. There's no strings attached. You just start an account. And I was talking with Sarah Saylor, who is the Washtenaw ISD person, and she was at our Simon's open house representing My Future Fund, and she shared that some of the students that got enrolled early on, they got the initial $25 deposit, but then they were also eligible for the extra amount, which I think was like 500 total. Yeah, so those accounts have only been active for a year or so, but they're already up to or over $600 in some cases. So it's an initial deposit that you get from the county, it goes into this account, and then it just sits there and matures and grows more money. So please don't overlook that opportunity. Even if you're only eligible for the 25, it's a place to start. Lastly, nope, that's it. Sorry, I thought I had more notes. That's it, thank you.
All right. There's a couple things that I did forget. Student board members, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that I did send an email to Mr. Shin to send out to the junior class looking for a junior representative to serve as a student representative. Ms. Heike will be our senior representative. I also want to remind folks that we are still having the Big Red Board Chat on Tuesday, September 23rd from 6:30 to 8 at Simon's Auditorium. So remember that. And then, yeah, just to echo the thanks, and I know there's a lot of hard work, and I hope everybody has a safe and long weekend. Everybody deserves it. Everybody has been working hard, so I want to make sure that people get those days that they deserve for all the work they put in, and that includes our admin team as well. So I hope everybody is able to take advantage of this nice weather that we finally have had. So we shouldn't have to worry about mold as long as the power doesn't go out during this weekend. So nice little respite to start back up and then come back on Tuesday. So I appreciate everybody's work, and I want you to take those days when you have them. So any other further board comments? All right. I need a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for negotiation strategies.
Moved by Murray.
Support by Heike.
It's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for negotiation strategies. We will let the minutes reflect that Mr. Burdette arrived at 7:36. There will be no further business after the closed session except for adjournment. So any other questions or concerns? All right, it's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for negotiation strategies. Ms. Murray.
Thank you. Heike?
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor?
Yes.
Sislo?
Yes.
Burdette?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
And motion carries 7-0.
All right, so we are going into closed session at 7:37 p.m. All right, we are returning to open session at 8:52 p.m. and we are adjourning at 8:52 p.m.